Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Oh, really? Throwing legal documents on the ground? Are you crazy?
You know, if you don't stand up now, Canadians, you may not have that opportunity tomorrow. Today we have to stand up. Today we have to push the darkness. I mean, if not now, then when? If not you, then who?
So I encourage you now, if you love your children, if you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for your children, for the future of your sons and daughters, that they can live in Canada strong and free. We stand on guard for thee. So it's time to raise up and join.
Friends, as you know, here at Rebel News, for the duration of this declared pandemic, we've been helping normal people who have received exorbitant fines for doing completely normal things that have been outlawed by governments who have reacted abnormally to a disease from China. You can see some of the people that we are helping and see some of our early successes and help fund our legal battle to keep Canada just a little more free during the pandemic at fightthefines.com. Now, one of our very first Fight the Fines cases was Pastor Artur Pawlowski in Calgary. Now, my colleague Kian Bexty told you the story of Pastor Art, who routinely feeds not just the bodies, but the souls of marginalized people in Calgary's downtown core. Early on in the pandemic, Pastor Art was fined for violating restrictions on gatherings outside on a bitterly cold Calgary winter day. He was feeding the homeless. So at Rebel News, we flew into action. We hired a lawyer for Pastor Art named Sarah Miller, and Pastor Art's fine was dropped. He was an early victory, but the restrictions on gatherings are back, and so are the fines on Pastor Art. He's been slapped with nearly a dozen new fines over the course of just a couple of weeks. Art's been fined for not wearing a mask, even though he was not wearing a mask outside, and he's been fined for violating public health orders that restrict gatherings. Pastor Art's also been accused of organizing protests, which he assures me he is absolutely not doing. Now, I ran into Pastor Art at the weekly Walk for Freedom at Calgary's City Hall Plaza. Pastor Art was there with his brother, who has also been fined for the crime of taking care of the street people in Cowtown. Just watch.
Pastor Art, you have another fine. What happened?
Well, what happened? It's a story of my life. I'm feeding the homeless and I'm always end up with some kind of a trouble. I was doing my job as a clergyman. If you look historically, people, clergymen, pastors were always the frontliners at the front of any crisis, any war zone. It was us that when saving the lives were going to the war zones, were feeding the people, going to the leprosy communities. That's what we do. We are the frontliners. We are the essential services, just like the police officers, just like the firefighters, just like the nurses and the doctors. And then you got clergymen. But of course, the mayor and the premier disagree. They think that clergy people should be put down, keep your mouth shut, go home and lay low or play dead. I don't know what they're thinking. We have thousands of homeless people on the streets of Calgary. Someone needs to take care of them. Do you know that they have been forced to quarantine? 30 days, 14 days. Some were removed, taken away, never to be seen. Since last time they locked down the city of Calgary and they gave me $1,200 ticket, some of our parishioners died because we are their only supply of necessities of life. This time I said, no way, I'm not going to play under this dictatorship. They're playing like tyrants. They are the tyrants of today. I'm not going to do it. So I chose to feed the poor. I received a letter from the city of Calgary. They told me that if I do, more charges will come and they will hammer me with everything they have on the books. And they did. They came, they monitored everything, they recorded everything, and look what happened. They knocked at my door. The cowards didn't want to give me the tickets right in front of the people. They came to intimidate my children. They came to intimidate my wife, and they sent three cute-looking girls, officers, just for me to look bad. I mean, it's insane.
Your Gestapo breaking the law, our rights and freedoms to protest. Have you heard Jason Kenney saying that we have a right to protest?
I haven't. Arthur, I'm just going to interrupt
So
you for a second.
why are you here?
Okay, so the reason why
Please
I'm
get
here,
out of my
I will not
property.
leave your shirt.
Please get, listen,
David, this is
please
serious.
first, please get out of my property.
Gentlemen, these are both your tickets. Court dates on this.
Oh really? Throwing legal documents on the ground? Are you crazy?
So I have more threats. I already was told that the mayor was telling the thugs, because that's what they are, the law enforcement personnel. I call them the SS, the Nazis of today. They even changed their uniforms from blue to black, and they changed their slogan from "to serve and protect" to some vigilance, pride, and I mean it's ridiculous. They said that they're coming to give me more tickets. So tomorrow, 1 o'clock, I'm going to be there. I'm not hard to find, and I will be feeding the poor.
Now, we've agreed once again, to help you fight this fine. The last time you were fined, we fought it and we won. We're going to crowdfund to help you with that fine, but you remain undeterred. You're going to go back again.
Yes, tomorrow 1 o'clock I'm going to do what the church, every church should supposed to be doing, taking care of the poor, the orphans and the widows, to give people hope. You know, more people died since the pandemic because of suicide than because of actual virus. The people are struggling, they're hurting, the businesses are locked, the middle class is disappearing, and the homeless are dying, literally dying. So who is going to take care of them? Nenshi, the mayor of the city, is not taking care of them. The premier is not taking care of those people. I have to, and people like me. So I'll be there tomorrow. I got $1,200. I call it the COVID ticket for being there and having more people than 10. I got a ticket for not wearing a mask. And behold, the craziest ticket of them all is for organizing a peaceful protest. They charged me. And they say, if you want to protest this government, you have to get our permission. And I said, did we move to China? Is this Russia? I mean, Saudi Arabia. I don't need Kenney's permission. I don't need Nenshi's permission to protest their awful restrictions.
Do you have a message for everybody at home who's going to help fundraise to help you fight this fight?
You know, if you don't stand up now, Canadians, you may not have that opportunity tomorrow. Today we have to stand up. Today we have to push the darkness. I mean, if not now, then when? If not you, then who? We always have been saying maybe somebody else will rise up. But I'm telling you, it's time for everyone. It's time for you to rise up and stand up with us. We are willing to be in the front line for you, but we need your backing. We need your support. We need your words of encouragement, and we need the finances to fight them in a court system. Let's use their own devices, their own swords against their own heads.
I didn't realize that you were also ticketed along with your brother Art. How did that happen?
Well, I was at his house. We were getting ready to go and feed the homeless, and I guess they knew I was at his house, because the weird thing, and you can see that on a video, when the 3 ladies came, they already had a ticket, and when they saw me, they had a ticket right for me and said, David Pawlowski, hey, here is a ticket for you.
Okay, so David, make sure you read your ticket front and back, okay? It's in regards to the event you guys held on November 28th.
You're breaking the Charter of Rights and Freedom.
So they didn't even mention Art first, but they mentioned me. So they must have knew I'm at his house, and they were all prepared to catch me there. So it's ridiculous.
Is it going to stop you from feeding the homeless?
Of course not. Of course not. You know, not only we have the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, but as a Christian, as a man that believes in God and a preacher, I am to obey God rather than man, and especially these unconstitutional laws, they can shove him.
Do you have a message for everybody who's going to fundraise to help you fight your ticket?
Well, like my brother mentioned, a preacher that was a pastor that was in Nazi Germany, and this man said, well, they came for the socialists and there was nobody to defend them. Then they went for Jews, then they went for the Catholics, and there was nobody to defend. Then they came for him. And I want to repeat that once again. That's in history. When you study history, it's always the same scenario. It is a pattern. The Lord says in His Word, there is nothing new under the sun. You know, this whole thing has been seen in a different form, but it has been seen. I've experienced that in my childhood when I was growing up behind the Iron Curtain in Poland. Then I saw weird things where the Constitution was there, but no judges, nobody in the government obeyed them. They did whatever they want. So if you will not stand up now, I guarantee you, the history guarantees you might not have tomorrow. So I encourage you now, if you love your children, if you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for your children, for the future of your sons and daughters, that they can live in Canada strong and free. We stand on guard for thee. So it's time to raise up and join.
Well, David, we're going to hire a lawyer for you to help you fight this fine, and you're going to keep feeding the homeless.
Yes, thank you so much. May God bless you richly. May He repay you tenfold for your help, and it's much appreciated, It shows solidarity. And the word to me, solidarity, when I was a kid, I saw millions of people come in a movement called Solidarity in Poland. And I saw with my own eyes how they pushed the communists back. It was amazing. So, thank you. We're not going to quit feeding the homeless. It's our guaranteed right as Canadians and as Christians. So we're gonna help these people because, many people don't know, but there is thousands of people that sleep around in the bushes. They have no place to go. They're mentally ill. Many of them have schizophrenia, all kinds of other mental issues, addictions. No drop-in center, no mustard seed, Alpha House. They don't take them because they're violent, because they bring alcohol, so they get kicked out. We hear that all the time. So they got no place to go. They need food. They need help. And especially for church, for Christians, it is your time to shine now. It is your time. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. So why are you hiding?
Well, David, we're going to fight for you. People are going to fundraise to help you keep fighting, and you keep fighting for the homeless.
Thank you, bless you, and salute.
Since I talked to Pastor Art a couple of weeks ago, he's received even more fines, but he's not backing down because for him, he's called by God to minister to the least of our brothers. So I reached out to Sarah Miller from JSS Barristers. She's the original lawyer on Pastor Art's case, and she's agreed to help Art one more time. I sat down with Sarah earlier in the week to get her take on what's happening to Pastor Art and how she plans to help him fight back. Just listen. Sarah, the story of Artur Pawlowski is long and storied, and he refuses to back down. Now, why did you find Artur's case so compelling, and why did you want to take it on?
So, as you know, Sheila, I represented Artur in the spring with respect to one of the public health tickets that he received, and the Crown ended up staying the charge in that case. Now, apparently, the police and the bylaw officers have decided that they want to get back after Artur. He's received in excess of 11 tickets between him and his brother for feeding the homeless. I mean, that's really all he's doing. He's doing a bit of sermons and he's handing out food. It just seems so unfortunate that he's being targeted in this manner. We know from many different anecdotal and actual research on social science that these laws are impacting the poor the hardest. The poor are the people who have the hardest time responding to the laws of COVID and the hardest time addressing those and being able to respond, right? They can't go out and buy $50 worth of masks. They can't go out and figure out, I'll take my car to the superstore to get my groceries on pickup. They live in higher quantities of people within a household, and Artur is doing his part to help homeless people on the streets of Calgary, making sure that they have food, that their emotional and their physical and their religious, spiritual well-being is taken care of. And the city of Calgary has, in response, decided that they need to ticket him for not wearing a mask outside, which is not even what the bylaw says. for hosting an event at the park without a permit, for posting a sign on a tree. These types of tickets just seem quite disingenuous with respect to why we have these laws in place. We're looking to have, you know, a balance between all of our interests as a society, and this just doesn't seem like a proper balance. You can disagree with a lot of what Artur might have to say from the city of Calgary. They're allowed to disagree with him, but the fact that they're targeting him and over and over and ticketing him over and over just seems so unfair. They've done this to him before a few years ago, and now he's got another target on his back. And I really believe in helping the poor, and so if I can help Artur and he can help the poor, then that's my part in all of this. So,
well, Sarah, I want to thank you so much for working so hard to defend religious freedom in Canada. That's something that's very near and dear to my heart. I know you're working very hard. Thanks again for working so hard for Artur.
Thanks, Sheila, and thank you, Rebel News, for supporting all of this work as well.
Now, not only are the fines against Pastor Art vindictive and petty and overblown, but at this point, it's becoming persecution at the hands of the city, and we are not going to stand for it. There are so many fines for so many different things being thrown at Pastor Art to deter him from helping those in Calgary who need it the most. And so it's going to be an expensive battle ahead, but I think such an important one because it's about religious freedom. It's about helping those in our communities who need it the very most. And it's about standing up to the bullies at City Hall and reminding them that they cannot use bylaw and city cops to punish their political enemies with politically motivated fines, which is what I think is exactly what's happening here. Now, if you can help us help Pastor Art continue to do the work that Calgary needs him to do, to show kindness and Christian love to the homeless and the addicted and the marginalized in Calgary's downtown core, and to allow Pastor Art to minister to the homeless completely unmolested by the province, the city police, and the municipal bylaw officers, please help us. Donate today at fightthefines.com. Sarah Miller is, I think, the exact right lawyer for the job. She's going to do everything that she can to help Art, and so am I. Can you help us too? At fightthefines.com. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. If you've received a coronavirus fine for doing something that was completely legal and completely normal 10 short months ago, don't pay it, fight it. Reach out to us at fightthefines.com and tell us your story. And if you'd like to help us help other people fight these ridiculous coronavirus fines, you can do that too at that special website, fightthefines.com.